I'd like to first of all congratulate and thank my brother Saleh and the team in the Food and Beverage Group in the UAE for organizing this great event where all the thought leaders in the region joined forces for a couple of days to discuss the future of the industry. Very related to the topic that was discussed in the previous panel, food security in the region, the role of retailers and in the value chain and how they enable and make a thriving ecosystem for the food industry. With me today is one of the prominent leaders of the retail sector in the UAE, Mr. Mohamed Hashemi, the CEO of Union Coop. He is part of the Young Global Leader team in the World Economic Forum. He has a diverse background in multiple sectors, including property, entertainment, healthcare, fashion, lifestyle, and F&B. He's also known for his strategic expertise in navigating the GCC market, having spent 7 years in Saudi Arabia as part of the MAF organization. He's a visionary leader and excels in human capital planning and has a proven track record in launching successful startups. Join me in welcoming Mohamed Hashemi. I must say this is really a great opportunity for me. I've been in the food industry for the last 30 years, and there's always been kind of love and hate relationship with retailers. So having this opportunity to discuss with the leader of one of the most successful retailers in the UAE is really a valuable opportunity. Let me start by saying, Union Coop is the largest consumer cooperative in the UAE, serving a significant portion of the population with a unique role it plays in shaping the food industry in the region. How do you balance between being a business entity and a cooperative focused on community welfare?
I think co-ops in the region is a concept where is not available in any other country. If you look at co-ops in Europe as an example, it's a membership fee-based businesses. While when it comes to the UAE as an example, it's a shareholding based business. There is a balance between having it as a company, yet as well as a cooperative where you give the benefit to the shareholders. Given the fact we have been operating for the past almost 40 odd years, we are established in 1982, 40% of our sales today are coming from shareholders, while 60% is not coming from shareholders. So this is the balance where it comes to serve Dubai. It's a company from the people to the people, as simple as that.
Great. Union Coop interacts with multiple stakeholders across the value chain. How do you see the role of retailers in helping the resilience of the F&B sector in the UAE to provide food security?
When it comes to food security, I think one of the most important things is to ensure having the infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, it's primarily the cold chain infrastructure. So this is one, on logistics. Two, we need to focus on local supplies. We need as well to focus on securing the imports. As in the previous panel, the good thing about the UAE is having good connections and having good relationships with so many countries globally where food supply is secured to inflow into the country.
That's a good point and really leads me to my next question. We experienced a lot of supply disruptions in the last 4 years, whether it is due to COVID or to the Ukraine crisis, or more recently, the Suez Canal stoppage with the events in the Red Sea. How do you handle these disruptions and overcome them?
I mean, we are not living in heaven, we're living on planet Earth. So being agile and being in a business as well, mandate on you to have plan A, plan B, plan C. Now, in each and every single example that you have mentioned, there was a contingency plan. When it comes to the Red Sea, as an example, Saudi have played a major role in securing the inflows to the UAE. When we talk about Russia and Ukraine, we had good relationships with both countries, so we managed to have inflows as well from both countries. In some cases, force majeure do happen, like COVID, but still being agile and being as well planning for Plan B and Plan C is a must for us to secure the food security and the inflows into the UAE.
Great. One of the topics we touched on early on with the opening is the metaverse and the changes in technology that are happening at a very fast rate. We're seeing the consumer expecting higher level of convenience, also being more picky on sustainability and product variety. How is Union Co-op leveraging innovation to enhance its value proposition and meet the rising consumer and customer demands?
I think when we look into this market at the moment, you have three different generations that shop from retailers. You have the elder generation than us, you have our generation, and you have the generation that just came into the market, who started working and started building families. So the question is, how do you communicate with those three different generations? Each generation has a different way of communication. So this is one. When it comes to the proposition of the item itself, if I had to give you an example about my parents, I think they would maybe buy in bulk, keep them within the house and consume. In my case, as an example, I do buy on a weekly basis, but we have as well noticed that the new generation who came into the market are more into smaller items. We just had a small discussion on something called shrinkflation as well. They are more into price sensitivity.
Okay.
So shrinkflation maintains the price while the size goes a bit down, and more into ready to eat, ready to cook sort of items, let alone as well the conversion from offline to online.
Excellent. Consumers today are more conscious of where their food comes from and how it is produced. How are you addressing this, wanting to know the source, the practices of production or agriculture?
Definitely. I think I can give you two examples. One is being transparent with the customer. Being transparent is by, especially when it comes to fresh foods, fruits and vegetables, mentioning the origin of the item itself. So this is one of the most important things. Two, brand awareness. I remember when we had the discussion on this panel, so you came from Riyadh yesterday, last night.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, guys, when we spoke about Riyadh, he went to Riyadh in January 2023.
Yeah.
I left Riyadh in March 2023. We crossed paths for 3 months only in Riyadh. So I was giving him an example. He flew Emirates yesterday. Every green leaf that you eat on Emirates flight is actually produced by Emirates from a company that Emirates acquired called Botanica. And Botanica is also available in Union Co-op. Why did I give you this example? It's more into knowing the origin, knowing the quality, and knowing how good the item that you are eating is.
Yeah. I'm curious about this point. Are you seeing the consumers willing to pay more for better origins and more transparency, or it's expected to be at the same levels?
I think access to information is way more than before. So yes, the answer is people are cautious. Yes, they are price sensitive as well, but people are also cautious on what goes into their tummies.
We talk a lot about collaboration across the value chain and how it helps driving innovation. How does Union Co-op work with the suppliers and the manufacturers and the logistics providers to create new solutions and new innovations?
A good case study is our partnership with DP World. DP World is handling around 11% of the global trade through all the ports that they operate. And there is a platform, a marketplace platform owned by DP World called Dubai. Dubai is a marketplace where we as a business can buy an item from a manufacturer that deals with DP World and send it directly to our warehouses. So we have a new, we just started, so we have a new product that will be coming into Union Co-op very soon, within the coming 2 weeks, coming from China. Okay. So it's from the farm to the shelf. So this is one of the most innovative and I would say great case studies where DP World is actually supporting the logistics and supporting as well the inflows into the UAE.
It's brilliant. Maybe also you can open a virtual shop on the Foodverse.
We could.
You deal with a lot of suppliers. I mean, hundreds or thousands of suppliers. How do you manage the relationship with these suppliers and the friction that is the norm of the day?
See, everyone has a goal. As the supplier has a certain KPI to achieve, we have certain KPIs as well to achieve. It's always finding that common ground. If you squeeze the supplier, you might end up losing that supplier or maybe even having that supplier get out of business. Yes. So we need to find the balance. But most importantly, that we both, us and the suppliers, we also need to think about the end consumer and what would be the good value that people can actually afford.
Brilliant. Building on this point, the UAE is home to a very vibrant small and medium enterprise landscape. And they tend to be smaller, less resourceful, yet the government of the UAE and Dubai has a lot of initiatives to help SMEs. How is Union Co-op is contributing to this initiative?
So as I just said, it's a company from the people to the people. So Union Co-op is owned by 37,000 shareholders, all from Dubai. And thus, we do have as well many of our shareholders, suppliers within Union Co-op. Now, let's keep the large corporates aside, but when it comes to SMEs, as an example with Mohamed Barashid SME establishment, if an establishment comes through the SME, we do actually give support to those SMEs, either waiver on listing fees, I would say more relaxed rebates, so on and so forth. We do support SMEs, and we do believe that having those SMEs sustained for a longer term will benefit us as a business, but will also benefit the Emirate and the country to have local supplies coming from the local market.
I think this is going to make you very popular with the audience, such discounts. One theme that we've seen over the last 5 years is digital transformation and how it's reshaping the retail landscape. How is Union Co-op adapting to digital tools, data analytics to enhance either supply chain visibility or actual customer experience?
Data is a king. And when we have the data, we can direct the suppliers and manufacturers on what customers want. When we have data, we can understand what would be too cheap for people not to buy and what is too expensive for people not to buy. And most importantly is the consumer experience. One of the good case studies that we have today, if you shop in Union Co-op, yes, it might be seen as an offer, but it's actually something that we heard from customers on the consumer journey experience. You can actually gain skywards miles if you shop through Union Co-op. Now, despite the fact it might be seen as a marketing tool, it's actually something that enhances the consumer experience. It's more about the value that you offer that customer. They might be able to buy the same product from a different retailer, but what are we offering the customer from a sentimental value?
That's great. How do you see the effect of quick commerce on you people who are willing to deliver in 15 minutes and 20 minutes? Is this something Union Co-op is looking at?
We are looking to quick commerce, yes. Quick commerce is something as well, if you had to go back to the data, quick commerce, I would maybe label it as a last-minute disaster savior. People who use quick commerce are actually people who are cooking a meal and they need something that is not available at their house. It's a savior to a certain extent. We are not into quick commerce at the moment. We are into scheduled and 45 minutes, but quick commerce is something that will come soon as well.
Brilliant. Looking forward, what would you say the biggest opportunities for collaboration in the food and beverage value chain?
I think when it comes to collaboration, it's mainly on the food security and commodities side of the industry. This is one. Two, it's on the local produce. Three is us, all of us, retailers and suppliers, sitting together, yes, making the right decisions for the business or the businesses that we represent, but also focusing on what the customer is actually in need for.
Well, given the audience is predominantly from food processing companies, what advice would you give leaders in the food processing industries to improve and strengthen their partnership with you as a large retailer in the UAE?
I think having an open dialogue, listening to what our customers are asking for, and then adapting to what the market is in need for. I think that channel of communication is needed.
Brilliant. Very important topic that has come to the surface in the last 2 years is Emiratization.
Yes.
Private sector, it's new to the idea. Union Co-op is at the forefront of this initiative. Can you shed some light on the program that you put in place in Union Co-op?
Yes. I think we have three touch points to talk about when it comes to Emiratization. One is we have been awarded the NAFIS Award this year for reaching 36% Emiratization. So this is one of the key highlights and milestones on the Emiratization journey within Union Co-op. The second point, yes, it's 36%. Is it easy? I would say it's not easy. Even in my past experience in Saudi, when Saudization happened in Saudi, be it in the entertainment industry or the retail industry, when it came, it was like a shock at the beginning, but then I came to realize that we're not less smarter or less capable. It's just that we have not been given the chance to be in that industry. When I saw Saudis working in the cinema, pouring popcorn to customers, or maybe selling Pepsi, mixing, actually they came with so many ideas into mixing Red Bull with Miranda. I mean, so many things that came into that field. We're in no way less in terms of capability, mental capability, or actually physical capabilities. When it comes to the UAE, we are actually the same. So I am proud to say that 36% of the workforce in Union Co-op is actually from the UAE. And I wish that we can also follow the lead of Saudi and be even more. The third touch point when it comes to food security, this country will need the Emiratis to serve such a sensitive industry.
That's an amazing achievement. I mean, working in the private sector in the UAE when this program was launched, our ambition was to get to 10%. In Saudi, it's already at 30%. So I'm curious, what about the cost side of the program? I mean, of course, there's plenty of capable talent in the market, but there's always, private sector raises the question, would we be cost effective or cost efficient if we expand our localization when it comes to talent? How did you handle that?
See, as a business, yes, I do agree there is a cost, and we have to maintain that cost as well as a business to deliver shareholder value. But there is another way to look into it, which is basically the investment into local capabilities. And that investment in local capability is of no limit, I would say.
Brilliant.
When it comes to investing in local capability, I think there is no limit to that investment because that investment will have a return one day.
That's a great success story. Finally, what's your vision for Union Co-op? How do you see Union Co-op in 5, 10, 15 years?
Union Co-op is a unique company. In our previous General Assembly as well, we had a question on should we or should we not convert to a publicly listed company, and it's something that is publicly announced in the General Assembly. Where do I see Union Co-op? I see Union Co-op as one of the, if not the leader in Dubai. I see Union Co-op as one of the neighborhood collective retailer. We are focusing on neighborhoods, we are focusing on the people, we are focusing on SMEs, we are focusing on making the right decisions for Dubai and for the UAE from a food security perspective. When COVID hit, Union Co-op stood and was the only legitimate, I forgot the name, but the one that stood behind Dubai when it comes to food security.
That's brilliant. We have some time also for some Q&A for Mohamed today. So all the sales managers in the audience who are trying to get into Union Co-op, that's your chance.
So, and I like your thinking when it comes to like the differentiation between generations, generation X and B and C. And then I see the move into two things, and I need you to elaborate if you can help us. And it's a ready meal thinking. So would like to know. I mean, what's the focus on ready meal? So until you focus on the new generation, they're focusing more into ready meals thinking. So this is one, and then the other one is the e-commerce. So we see the shift. So how big you see the shift? I mean. Is it going to, this is the future, or the footfalls will still come to the stores and all this? And thank you.
Okay, if I understood your first question, you were asking what is the difference between the generations?
No, I mean, you mentioned the differences,
yes.
But what's really grabbed my attention is the ready meal focus.
Yes.
Okay, so it's good to elaborate more. Well, I mean, on the ready meal consumptions from a consumer point of view, the new generations.
Okay. So when it comes to the first question, the new generation. So let's focus on the new generation. The new generation, one, when it comes to their span of attention, their span of attention is less than us. They focus more on TikTok as an example, more on Snapchat, so on and so forth. So we see that grabbing their attention is not as easy as grabbing someone else's attention from a different generation. When it comes to the items that they buy items that are either ready to eat or ready to be cooked. When it comes to the quantities, they buy in a smaller quantity but more frequently, which also results, when it comes to us as a business, having a low average basket, but more frequent visits. Value for money, the experience, I think those are the major things that we have seen. As well, when they come to form a family, they are way more educated and way more aware in comparison to the previous generations on what sort of food to buy for their children. So this is on the new generation. When it comes to e-commerce, our e-commerce in Union Co-op, as an example, in the previous declaration in DFM, had a growth of almost 38%. Where do we see e-commerce going? I think e-commerce will be one of the top 3 contributors to a top line in any retailer in the coming 2 to 5 years. Shukran.
Any other questions?
If no questions, I can give you a good, please.
Can we get the mic over there? Second table behind the first 2 rows.
Hi, Mr. Mohamed. My name is Mohamed Yunus. You know now the food waste is the main major in food and beverage industry in the world. What is the role of Union Coop to reduce food waste in UAE?
Great
Thanks.
question.
Very good question, yes. Look, it starts from the consumer. It starts from the consumer. Food waste in our region in general is actually high, and it comes from the habits of generosity. So it should start from the consumer. When it comes to us as a retailer, most of our agreements with the retailers that excess or wastages goes back to the supplier, and the supplier then deals with it. We try as much as possible to lower our shrinkage and wastage as a business, and it goes in balance between the consumer and the supplier. And as Al-Islami just re-announced and relaunched their slogan, food is a blessing, and if it's a blessing, then we need to really make sure that wastage is actually minimized. صح صالح?
Great. We can take one final question, if there is one. Yes, there is a hand up there.
There we go. Thank you, everyone. What challenges are you facing with biosecurity risks, and what steps have you already taken in terms of food moving from your source to your depot, and from your depot perhaps to other distribution centers? Are you facing any concerns, and what steps have you already taken?
See, the main concern is the cold chain infrastructure. If you don't have a cold chain infrastructure, either within the region or globally, that will be a major challenge. That will be a really big challenge. And I think cold chain infrastructure is the utmost challenge that I foresee as.
Okay, thank you. So what I meant was biosecurity risks such as pests. So pest animals perhaps consuming some of your stock before it reaches quality controls and it becomes available to your customer. What challenges have you experienced, and what are you doing or planning to do about such risks and challenges?
Well, I must admit this.
Can you repeat the question?
To pets?
Biosecurity risks. So, for example, pests or animals interfering
Okay.
with your supplies. What challenges have you seen?
Okay.
What steps are you taking currently?
Okay. See, when it comes to challenges, there are a lot of challenges, to be honest with you, from that perspective. A lot of food that is being consumed by us is, I would say, is not maybe naturally produced. One of the most, I would say, creatures that consume antibiotics is actually cows. And the reason why cows are being fed corn to be able to produce milk and meat as well. So it is a challenge, and it comes to two things. It comes to us giving that awareness to consumers, and it comes as well to the intermediate in between, which is basically the government, who actually stamp on the product that the product is safe to be edible.
Great.
So you're facing challenges with the supply to the cattle. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so what challenges do those exist for cattle? What is stealing their food, if you know what I mean? What pests are affecting your cattle?
Maybe we can take this question up to
Thank
keep
you.
the
Okay.
conference going.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your curiosity, and thank you very much for my guest, Mohamed Al-Hashemi, for being candid, transparent, and extremely open with his thoughts and ideas. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.